Lies, half-truths, misdirection, crony capitalism. It's just to name a few. And Silicon Valley Bank. I was reminded, popped into my head how my mind works. There's that scene in the movie Birdcage when Robin Williams is trying to teach Nathan Lane to be more of a man and ask him about the football game and the Dolphins and what did you think happened and how do you feel? And I feel betrayed and bewildered. I don't feel betrayed and bewildered. This is what you expect out of the media. This is what you expect out of Washington. This is what you expect out of Wall Street. As George Carlin once said, it's a big club and you ain't in it. That's the reality. Everything that you are being told right now in the press, the sad stories, these ridiculous startup a-holes showing up on every program out there talking about, oh my God, we needed to save our employees. We wouldn't have made payroll. Bullshit. It's just complete and utter BS. Oh, you don't think that they could have gone to their venture capitalists, to the people that funded them, that gave them the money? So you need to understand something. Many of these startups, they didn't take out loans. They didn't take out loans from Silicon Valley Bank. They had money thrown at them by venture capital firms. They did their banking there. You mean to tell me that they couldn't have gone to their backers? No. They could have. And guess what? The venture capitalists would have helped them make payroll. Plain and simple. What happened? If they didn't, guess what? Their entire investment would have gone down the tube. However, what it did was it allowed for all of the executives, all these startup darlings with their goatees and their hair gel and the venture capital a-holes from Silicon Valley, it allowed that they didn't want to dilute their stock. They didn't want to dilute their position. And let's be honest, that these guys donate big to the right people in Washington, D.C. And they whined and they complained. Oh no, this is going to be terrible. The whole banking system's going to come down. It's a huge risk. Really? Why is it then that it's just Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank whose deposits are guaranteed over $250,000, the FDIC limit? How come it's just those two banks? Oh yeah, that's right. They're the right guy. They're the right people. Okay, it's the woke crowd. It's the woke crowd. It's the startup crowd. They go to the right parties. They hang out with the right politicians. You can check yourself. You see who they donate money to, for crying out loud. You can see exactly whose bread they butter. But this show that they're putting on, and then you're getting the media people going along with it. Oh no, there's no moral risk here. This is the government. This is great action by the government. Horse manure. Horse manure. The bank should have gone down. I was wrong yesterday. Do you realize that almost 90% of the deposits at Silicon Valley Bank were uninsured? Now think about that for a second. Almost 90%, meaning over the $250,000 limit. Oh, they were telling you, oh yeah, it's the guys that are sweeping the floors, the guys that are sweeping the floors at our startup and cleaning the bathrooms and mowing the lawns. Bullshit. You think Silicon Valley wanted their business? No freaking way. They wanted their business as much as they wanted, Goldman Sachs would want their business. You've been lied to again. You've been lied to again. And this is our job here, is to expose all of this. Again, this is a bailout of Silicon Valley. Oh, it's our ecosystem. It's our community. You bailed out venture capitalists and you bailed out these startup people. So eventually they can try to ladder their company up in valuation. And when market conditions are better, they'll take their company public at a ridiculous valuation through some investment bank, one of the big ones, and get you to buy into it at a ridiculous price. More often than not. Oh, am I wrong? Why don't you go back and take a look at just how well IPOs have performed just over the past 5 years? You want to go back even further? How well have they performed? And again, the funny thing is, the funny thing is, you're not even getting in close to the bottom. You're not even a venture investor when you're getting involved in the IPO. You're like the 50th round of financing, like in Wall Street, last person on the deal team, last to know. People, I throw people up with this. They still don't realize it. You do realize Uber has yet to make a dime, right? You do realize that Uber's well below its IPO price, right? You do realize that, right? Oh, venture capitalists, they got paid. Founder Travis Kalanick made himself a freaking fortune. He got out. I've explained it as this perverse game of musical chairs. And again, I'm an old school Wall Street purist, and I believe in companies going and raising capital and doing the right thing and trying to build a company for the long run. But that's not what these companies are. These companies are jokes. Most of them. Most of them are jokes, but it doesn't matter that they're a joke. It doesn't matter. It's funny. This is the CEO of Silicon Valley Bank. I got to go this. Greg Becker. Greg Becker and his top two lieutenants, Chief Financial Officer Daniel Beck and Michael Dejanau. Again, you got to see the interviews. And again, I didn't pay much attention to this bank. I knew what they did. But again, you take a look at some of the interviews that these guys were saying. I usually tell people that I've got the coolest banking job in the entire world. This was on a podcast. At Silicon Valley Bank, we work with the coolest companies in the entire world. Now, you want them managing risk for you as a bank, or would you rather have, I don't know, Jamie Dimon do it? The coolest companies in the world? See, I don't look for the coolest companies in the world. I look for the most profitable companies in the world. But again, their strategy worked. Deposits were up, again, COVID, 86% in 2021. Stock was up 75% in 2021 after being up 54% in 2020. But what happened last year? People said, something's not right. Their shares were down, close to 70%? Close to 70% and down another 55% as of last Thursday before the thing went to zero. They didn't have a risk officer. Their risk officer stepped down last April. Where is this lady? This Laura Izureta? I mean, where is she? They got her in witness protection somewhere? Did they make her an offer she couldn't refuse somewhere? And she's on some sort of island in the South Pacific? How in the world, again, you've got the Federal Reserve coming out and telling you that they're raising rates. We're raising rates, we're raising rates, we're raising rates, we're raising rates. Yet Silicon Valley Bank said, no, rates are going to go down. No. They were basically, like a lot of the situation, I guess they were kind of counting on a bailout. Well, Silicon Valley, again, got bailed out. Their Silicon Valley Bank is no longer. And that's what you're being told by the idiots in the Biden administration, is that we got them. Yeah, we got them. Yeah, the shareholders in the bottle. I believe in capitalism. The shareholders and the bondholders, all that, taking them out. This is a bailout. Again, the first $250,000. Okay, first $250,000 you put into a bank, FDIC insured. After that, if something goes wrong, you are liable for a loss. Silicon Valley wanted to have different rules. This is Vivek Ramaswamy again. Great piece today. Venture capitalists on Sunday. Startup executives stood to lose their deposits. Worked overtime to push the narrative, the lie. Again, we dispel narratives here on the program that there would be a bank run Monday if the bank's uninsured depositors weren't bailed out by the government on Sunday. They won. Janet Yellen, and again, if you saw her appearance on the Sunday morning talkers, this wasn't decided on Sunday morning. This was late Sunday afternoon. Announced that tech companies that deposited funds at SVB, even those that parked far too much money there without diversifying, would be made whole. That is the definition of crony capitalism. You're changing the rules. You're changing the rules after the fact to help a select group. That's what you're doing. And 98% of the political donations from these bailed out firms went to donkeys, went to Democrats. When President Biden talks about bailing out small business owners, no. Do you think that George Pappas and his Greek restaurant there in outside of Stanford, there you guys working 14, 15-hour days? Do you think he's doing his banking at Silicon Valley Bank? Get the hell out of here. You don't want his business. They're not interested in his business. That's horseshit. If you are a favored class here in this country, again, let's just keep saying it. If you're part, like I said, if you're a part of the club, there's different rules for you. It is what it is. Again, I've accepted it. I've accepted it maybe about 15, 20 years ago here on the program. When I came up with it was, I can't remember the exact year. Maybe it was, I don't know. It was after George W. Bush gave his ridiculous axis of evil speech. But anyway, my WatchDog and Wall Street axis of evil. Big business, politicians, and the media working hand in hand to further their wants, their needs. Again, Vivek makes the same points that I'm making here. If any of these startups, these businesses, if they were actually good businesses, great business plans, they were viable, again, they were not going to lose all of their money. They'd probably take maybe a 10, 15% haircut on their deposits, if that. But again, their venture capitalists, if they had good businesses, would have filled the hole. They would have given them the money. But again, what does that involve? Equity delusion. That's all. Meaning that the people would make as much money when they tried to rip off the general public and take it public at an absolutely ridiculous valuation. People, again, you're being lied to. You're being told that this not a bailout. It's not a bailout, and the FDIC is going to handle it. You do realize that money that goes to the FDIC comes out of your banking fees. It comes out of the money that you fees that you pay at your bank. And if the FDIC, again, they empty the coffers over at the FDIC to make all of these goatee gel wearing VC startup a-holes, okay? Hey, listen here. I have no problem with new and innovative companies, okay? I have a problem the way the business is done today. And again, I've gotten into that. But yeah, you're going to be paying higher fees at your bank. That's the reality of the situation. Again, a couple points here. Again, going over the portfolio of these banks. It's really hard to get your arms around just how bad, just how horrific Silicon Valley Bank was with risk management. It's amazing to me. And I know they're going to talk, well, White House came out yesterday and we got to have more regulations. How many more? How many more thousands of pages are you going to pile on top of thousands of pages of regulations? What are you going to do? I mean, honestly. Yeah, at some point in time, Maxine Waters is going to, pull the same thing that she pulled back when oil prices originally went up above $3 a barrel. What was that, like 2005? Actually, when she said she wanted to socialize the oil companies. When's Maxine Waters going to say she want to socialize the banks? You know what the interesting thing is too? You want irony here? Dodd-Frank, Chris Dodd, Barney Frank. Yes, their names are on this great piece of financial regulation. Came out during the Obama administration. Barney Frank is on the board of directors at Signature Bank, the one that just went under. Yeah, that same Barney Frank. The one, he sounds like Sylvester the cat when he talks. Booty flick, succotash. Yeah, that same Barney Frank. Same Barney Frank. Guy's genius when it comes to financial regulation, right? On the board of directors at Signature Bank, which was put into receivership over this past weekend. Again, people, our job here on the program, and it's been my job since I started this show back in 2000, is to dispel conventional wisdom, which is poison, the BS narratives that are being pushed down your throat. And I want to throw up in my mouth every single time I see you need to save us, our venture capital firm. We didn't know it was a tough weekend. Oh, give me a break. You could have called up your VC and said, give us some more money. But that would have put you a little bit more underwater, and it would have put the VC underwater. Screw it. Bail out. Bail it out, right? And again, I'm consistent here, okay? I'm consistent when it comes to bailouts. I've been against them all. WatchDog on WallStreet.com.